Hello and welcome to the Sea Forest Waterway on the opening morning of the para-rowing regatta at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. We're all set for a thrilling competition here. 4 boat classes, all of which are out on the water on this first morning. 96 athletes plus 12 coxswains. 25 nations, 3 different para classifications across 3 days of racing, 12 medals up for grabs. Just don't catch those crabs. This is para rowing at Tokyo 2020, and we've got a proven quick course for it. No fewer than 7 new world or Olympic best times were set last month when the rowing at the Summer Games was held here. We're all set for tailwinds again, so expect more quick times. 4 boat classes in this Paralympic rowing regatta, all in action today, with 2 heats on the way in each of the PR1 men's and women's single sculls, PR2 mixed double sculls and PR3 mixed coxed fours. Andy Bodfish in the commentary box, delighted to be joined by Kat Holloway. We know this is a quick track, Kat, and I think more speedy times is the expectancy again here, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, Andy. Fantastic course here in Tokyo, the Sea Forest Waterway. We've seen those Olympic and world best times broken throughout the Olympic regatta, and we can expect to see some fast times here in the Paralympics as well. So just lining themselves up ready for the start here. Our very first heat, the PR1 women's single sculls.
Yep, so the singles are up first. It's going to take something really quite special to stop the Norwegian Skarstein in this event. The women's singles, she goes in lane 5 in this first heat. Heat winners straight through to the final, rest go into the repechage. Birgit Skarstein there, 10:13.63. She has the world's best time in this event, set in 2018 in Plovdiv at those world champs. So she is the athlete to stop. We have France, Korea, Belarus, Brazil, Norway and the United States going here in this first of 2 heats. But it's a strong field. From France, Nathalie Benoit, world champion back in 2010. European champion more recently as well in 2020, and the Olympic silver medalist from Dorney.
You can see the great conditions though. Nice
London 2012.
At the start, very similar to how we see it down here at the finish.
She goes in lane 1.
Today, variation
returned after taking a short sabbatical to claim that Euro title last year. 41 years of age from Aix-en-Provence.
Sejong Kim.
Sejong Kim goes in lane 2 from Korea. Won her place at these paras by winning the B final at the World Champs in 2019. Lane 3, Lyudmila Ovachok, the 40-year-old, also a Winter Paralympian, bronze medalist in 2012 in London. Claudia Cicero Sabino from Brazil, 44 years of age from Sao Paulo. She goes in lane 4, was a swimmer before lane switching. And Birgit Skarstein, 4-time world champion, including most recently in Linz in 2019, 4th in Rio. She is the overwhelming favourite for this regatta in the women's singles. And Hallie Smith, 28 years of age from Washington DC, lives in Boston these days, from the United States, world champs, bronze medalist in 2018. She goes in lane 6. So the Paralympic rowing regatta is underway on the Sea Forest Waterway course here in Tokyo. It's a beautiful morning, the sun shimmering off the surface of the water here in Tokyo Bay. And what a terrific quick start from Birgit Skarstein. Quick out of the blocks, as we may have expected.
Yeah, she's so fast out of the blocks, Andy. Look at her go, 10 strokes in, and she's already establishing a lead in the first part of this race. She's really using the power through the water and so much length. She uses the length of her stroke to propel the boat through the water, and it's giving her a great advantage in this early stage.
Sabino from Brazil. She goes in lane 4. A nice strong start from her as well. Remember, heat winners go through to the final here. Rest go into the repechage for another crack at making the medals race. But Skarstein, the 32-year-old from Norway, out quickest there. Second in from the left of your picture there in lane 5. Then it's Sabino to Skarstein's inside, and Nathalie Benoit away to the right of your shot there in lane 1. She's an outside shout for medals, is Benoit from France. We know that she's done it in the World Champs and on the podium at Eton Dorney in London in 2012. Silver medal 9 years ago in that Paralympic rowing regatta. And it's a great story. She had a good while away from the water, came back and then promptly won the European title in 2020. But we're riding there with Skarstein, coached by Johan Flodin, 32 years of age. Not lost a regatta since 2017. It's going to take something really quite special to get ahead of Birgit Skarstein here in Tokyo.
Yeah, she's come into this regatta with such confidence, with those world titles behind her through this last Paralympic cycle, 2017, 2018, again in 2019. The start of the 2020 season, she's had some difficulties with an injury, but she's really rehabbed that so well. And look at her coming back into the sport this season again and working the rhythm in the boat, working the technique so beautifully through this first part of the race.
Yeah, Skarstein out in front. It's Nathalie Benoit who's rode through. Sabino, the Brazilian, at the top of his shot there, currently in second place at the 500-metre mark. That's quarter race distance. It is Skarstein at 2:36.32, out ahead there of Nathalie Benoit, who comes through the best part of 11 seconds down, and it's looking very much like Sabino who's got the edge on Kim here for third place. But it is just the heat winner here who goes through to the A final, so it's not all over if you don't manage to get up to the head of the race here. There is a chance in the repechage, but it's Benoit next best after Skarstein. 10.77 back there, over there in lane 1. The 41-year-old from Aix-en-Provence, a beautiful part of the world that in the south of France, and there's no doubt that this is a beautiful course as well in Tokyo Bay. Urban rowing regatta course here. It's not often we say that at an Olympic Games, but indeed conditions were conducive to fast times in the Summer Games regatta, and we hope for more of the same here.
Yeah, this urban course right in the heart of Tokyo really brings this rowing regatta into the heart of the Paralympic Games. And the heart of this athlete beating so fast at this point in the race. She makes it look so easy, real grace, but the determination is visible, and she'll be right up there at her threshold here, moving this boat along. It looks very calm, very accurate in terms of the technique, but she's working so hard to maintain this rhythm through the middle part of the race.
Yeah, Skarstein still well out in front here, the 32-year-old from Norway. I suppose being the leading athlete in your field brings with it a specific kind of pressure. It comes here as the overwhelming favourite and is therefore expected to deliver, expected to get the gold here. The reigning world champion. Indeed, that happened in 2018, 2017, 2014. She was a silver medalist back in 2013 at the Worlds. But wants this Olympic gold medal. And we can see there the extent of the dominance here in this opening heat of the women's singles here at the Para Rowing Regatta Tokyo 2020. Indeed, the first race out on the water in the rowing at these Paralympic Games. It's a gorgeous morning in Tokyo Bay. Very warm. Humidity down a little bit from kind of the oppressive conditions that we had during the Summer Games regatta. Conditions ideal here, and there we see 22.87 is the lead that Skarstein enjoys here over Nathalie Benoit.
Coming through this halfway marker, Skarstein really in control here. In a rowing race, when you're out in front like that, you can see the rest of the field behind you. It gives a certain psychological advantage to be able to see the other athletes. She can see at this point that she's really worked hard to get that advantage in the first half of the race, and she can maybe just use that to her psychological benefit through this second part of the race, knowing that just one athlete will go straight through to the A final, the others will have to row again in a repechage.
Yeah, so there's Skarstein, clear open water, the lead over Nathalie Benoit. 22.87 there. Then comes Sabino of Brazil, Kim Wojcik, and then Hallie Smith of the United States. She's a smart cookie in more ways than one. Skarstein has served on the finance committee for Oslo City Council back home, also on the Norwegian Advisory Board of Biotechnology, and at first wheelchair dancer on the Shall We Dance show in Norway, so she can cut some shapes as well. Very much in control of this heat here, Skarstein. Over 58 metres, the lead she enjoys here over Benoit, and a long way out ahead of Sabino as well, the Brazilian, who's in lane 4 here in this opening heat. So, looking very much like your Olympic champion, unless anything can be produced by the rest of the field. There is a chance for someone to be a hero here in Tokyo, but it's going to take a massive performance to overhaul Skarstein here up at the 1500 metre mark. That's 3/4 race distance here in this opening heat. Benoit to the right of your picture, second best still here. 8:24.37 is the time at 1500 metres for Birgit Skarstein. So that lead of 22 seconds at 1,000. And what's going to be the gap here with 500 to go? Well, she's maintained about the same here. So Benoit all set to come in second, but we'll go again in the repechage race. And having hit the front straight out of the blocks, she's been in control the whole way through. Stroking smoothly. Oh, and even the fish there dancing up and out of the water want a view. Spectacular pictures. Kim has just come through Sabino as well to move up into third place. The Brazilian Claudia Sabino drops into fourth, 52.66 seconds back. By the way, world best time 10:16.63. So she's rowing well within her abilities here, Skarstein. Not going to see that broken here at in the opening heat. But perhaps she'll be pushed to the wire the deeper we get into this para rowing regatta. 8:24.37, that time at 1500 metres, as the rest of the field try to close in.
Interesting to see here the last couple of 100 metres for Skarstein, and she's practicing her sprint here. She's taken the rate of striking, so the number of strokes per minute, up a little bit over the most of the course. She's gone through it at 29 strokes a minute, and she's taken that up now to 33 strokes a minute, just coming through this red buoy section in towards the finish. She doesn't need to do that to move away from the second place athlete, but I think it will be a rehearsal for her in preparation for the A final later in the regatta.
Yeah, we see those red buoys there from the 250 mark in towards the finish line. Skarstein, the big favourite here for the women's single sculls PR1 event, in complete control of this opening heat. So the Norwegian, the gold medal favourite here in Tokyo, safely through, as we may have expected, as the automatic qualifier to the A final. 11:11 is the time.
Could be a lucky number for Skarstein, that one.
Yep, next in will be Nathalie Benoit. There's a real chance that she can get amongst the medals here in Tokyo. The French woman, the London 2012 silver medalist. So what, around 30 seconds down on Skarstein in the coming over the line there. Nathalie Benoit of France, and Kim there in lane 2. Got past Claudia Sabino, the Brazilian. In the second 1,000, comes in third. You see Sabino there, Brazil, crossing the line in fourth place. So Kim at around about 12:19.02 for Kim. Then Sabino, Vorchuk and Smith. But you're looking there at the Norwegian Skarstein with a time of 11:11, winning the opening heat here in the PR1 women's single sculls. (11:41.75), that's 30 seconds down on Skarstein. It's Nathalie Benoit, so she leads the rowers after Skarstein into the repechage. Kim Sejong next up. And over the line comes Hallie Smith, bringing up the rear for the United States, but she'll go again. And Kim, 12:19.02. Third quickest in the opening heat in the women's singles. So, after all the build-up and all the expectation on her, good, solid opening day at the office for Birgit Skarstein. Very quick off the start, wasn't she? And it was a pace she was never going to relinquish.
se om du finner det.
Ja, om du lyfter det så ska jag.
Och prioriteringen. Sånn må ha den.
Jeg tror du behøver den her ute. Vent, ta med den.
Takk.
Ta med den, Birgit, så legg den i knæet, så vet vi hva det er. Good.
Thank you! Da går jeg og starter. Jeg går inn og starter. Jeg tar med deg.
So Birgit Skarstein then qualifies directly to the A final with a time of 11:11. Benoit, Kim, Sabino, Wojciech and Hallie Smith will race again in the repechage and try to join Skarstein in the A final. So then on to the second heat then in the PR1 women's singles. Again, we're looking for one direct qualifier to the A final, race winner here. The remaining rowers go into the repechage.
Next race on the course then, it's the second heat of the PR1 women's single sculls. We're going to find out who from this lineup will join Birgit Skarstein in the A final directly from these heats.
さあ続いての競技は女子 PR1 シングルスカル予選第2組です。
Kenya, Japan, Germany, Israel, Ukraine and Argentina have single scullers in this heat.
Argentina.
So going in lane one here is the Kenyan, 29 years of age, Asiya Sururu. And he made her international debut at the Gavedate Regatta in
Lane
2019.
one,
Went on
Kenya,
to win the
Asha
African
Mohammed
Paralympic
Sururu.
qualifying regatta in Tunis. She even had to borrow some kit for that, but came through. Fantastic effort.
Lane 2 for Japan, Ichikawa Tomomi.
So the local sculler from Japan goes in lane 2, Tomomi Ichikawa. She won a head-to-head duel with Samith Goenage Donna of
Lane
Sri
3
Lanka
for
to
Germany,
get
Sylvia
the
Piller
Olympic
Steppat.
berth. Sylvia Piller Steppat from Germany, 53 years young, from Stuttgart, was a World Championship bronze medalist in 2017.
Lane 4 for Israel,
in,
Maureen Samuel.
Lane 4, Maureen Samuel of Israel, a former member of the Israeli Air Force, a member of the Israeli basketball team as well.
Lane
She
5
could
for
well
Ukraine,
be amongst the
Anna
medals here.
Sheramet.
From Ukraine, Anna Sheramet goes in lane 5, 20 years of age, from Dnipro, agonisingly just outside the medals at the World Champs in 2019
Lane
in
6 for
Linz.
Argentina, Brenda
And from
Sardon.
Argentina, it's Brenda Sardon who goes in lane 6, 9th at the World Champs in 2019. So this the second heat then in the PR1 women's single sculls here at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Rowing Regatta. Second heat then in the women's singles on the opening morning of the Para Rowing Regatta at Tokyo 2020. And we're looking for the race winner here to join Birgit Skarstein directly in the A final. In lane 1, it's Sururu of Kenya, Ichikawa of Japan goes in lane 2, Pilla Stepat of Germany in 3. Samuel of Israel, favourite for a medal here in Tokyo, goes in lane 4. Sherima from Ukraine in lane 5. Sardon of Argentina in lane 6. And it's Samuel, perhaps unsurprisingly, who's quickest out of the blocks.
Yeah, she's had a really good start here, Maureen Samuel. Currently her rating is the 40 strokes a minute, so she's using that rate to move the boat on in these early stages. The athletes use this first 500 metres to get the boat up to speed and establish their race rhythm. So she's just striding into that now. That 40 strokes a minute starting to come down to about a 36, and she's got a couple of lengths advantage ahead of Ukraine's Anna Sherima.
Yeah, Samuel was the bronze medalist in Rio on the lagoon there 5 years ago, 5th in 2012 at Eton Dorney. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 medals as well at the World Champs for Samuel of Israel. And yeah, she's already built up a commanding lead. Sherima going well for the Ukraine 2 in lane 5, and thereafter comes Stepat of Germany. And just a word also about the classification here. You're watching a PR1 classification here. It's the highest level of impairment, minimal or no trunk function, force applied using arms and shoulders only, so you need real upper body strength to propel the boat down the course, strapping around the midsection to provide support and stability.
Yeah, along with that, we see the floats on the riggers of the shells. You'll notice that sort of extra white object just under where the oar fits into the gate on the boat, and that's to give the athletes stability within the boat and to stop the boats from capsizing. So it gives them some security whilst out there on the water.
Samuel stretching away, as we saw Skarstein do in the previous heat. Hits 500 ahead at 2:34.43, and this big lead built up over Sherima of the Ukraine, who's going to hit the quarter race distance in second place, 11.71, and then the German Pilla Stepat at 17.90 behind. So far, so good for Maureen Samuel. Been winning medals at World Champs since 2011, when she was a bronze medalist, 3 silvers as well in 2014, 17 and 18, before returning to the third step of the podium in Linz 2 years ago. There's an element of unpredictability about this regatta, as was the case at the Summer Olympic Games regatta, with COVID, of course, having complicated everyone's preparations for this Olympic and Paralympic regatta. Kind of everyone had to start again, really. No competitive action throughout 2020. Certainly that's the case actually with the worldwide crews. Of course, there was a European champs in 2020, but it's provided something of a leveller, COVID, but Samuel has made it here, and one of the favourites for a medal. It's going to be fascinating to see if she can chase down Skarstein the deeper we get into this regatta. But no rustiness from the Israeli here in this second heat in the women's singles. She's clear water ahead of the rest here.
Maureen Samuel took that European silver medal earlier this season back in Varese, just behind Birgit Skarstein. The gap between them on that regatta was just 5 seconds in the final. So Birgit Skarstein obviously rehabbing the injury she took back in 2020, and I'm really excited to see these two athletes go head to head in the final. But here riding with Anna Sherima, the 20-year-old from Ukraine, she's currently in second place, and that gap between her and the leading sculler now 60 metres.
Yeah, riding them with Maureen Samuel, who was the world champion back in 2015, 6 years ago now. She represented Israel in able-bodied basketball prior to her impairment. Wheelchair basketball since, multi-skilled athlete, and she's really throwing a performance down here in this heat in the PR1 women's singles. 5:19.01 then, and that's her ahead at the mid-race distance, 1,000 metres. She's built up a more commanding advantage now over Sherima. The Ukrainian Sherima 23.57 back, nearly 24 seconds there, and Sylvia Pil-Stepat, the 53-year-old German from Stuttgart, holding on to third at present. The gap there, what, 8 seconds between Sherima and Pil-Stepat. But we are, of course, just looking for race winner here, who qualifies directly for the A final and remaining crews into the repechage.
These para rowing events now all raced over 2,000 metres, which is in addition to this Paralympic cycle. So para rowing's been on the Paralympic programme since 2008, and for those first Paralympic regattas they were all raced over 1,000 metres. And this increase to 2,000 really brings parity to the sport, making it the same distance as the Olympic programme. And it also means some changes for these athletes in terms of their preparation. They've got to work on their endurance to be able to hold their boat speed over a course length, which is double what they have previously prepared for. So a slight change in training regimes for these athletes over the past Paralympic cycle.
Yeah, nobody able to get closer to Maureen Samuel then in this second heat in the women's singles. Studied physiotherapy at the University of Haifa. 39 years of age, and has that experience. This third Paralympic rowing regatta, having been there in London and Rio. Very smooth and in control of the boat. As you say, much is the case with Scarstone, out of the blocks quickly in that opening heat, getting that lead quickly and just seeing the entire field fan out behind you. Then it turns into, I suppose, a race against yourself, really, to try and fine-tune the technique through the 1,500 metre mark now. That's three-quarters race distance, 8:12.09. And she's going to bring this home comfortably. Maureen Samuel. Well, that's Sherima in second place. Youngest in this boat class here at the Tokyo Games, just 20, and competing internationally for 3 years now. Sherima been on the top spot of the podium in previous World Cup events, but nowhere near top spot, I'm afraid, in this heat in the women's singles. Has a lead of 10 seconds over Pil-Stepat, the German. And thereafter, it's Sardon, the Argentine, in fourth place. Tsuruoru from Kenya in fifth, and the home rower, Ichikawa, bringing up the rear in sixth place. Lovely shot there from the drone. And looking down the course, back up towards the start line. Gives you an indication of the lead enjoyed here by Maureen Samuel of Israel. Through the red buoys, that's the last 250 metres of the race.
Her rowing's so rhythmic. She moves this boat really, really nicely. The boat's moving very flat in the water. And one difference we can see here, this is Pil-Stepat from Germany. If you look at that German flag on the spoon of the oars, we see that facing towards the camera through the whole recovery of the stroke. Whereas when we look in here with Ukraine's Anna Sherima, she's turning the spoon of the oar. We call that feathering, so that the spoon is parallel to the water. That makes things a little bit more aerodynamic on the way forwards in the stroke. Sylvia Pil-Stepat, not not able to do that, so she's using what's called square blades through the whole stroke, and it does provide a bit more resistance in terms of the wind against that spoon of the oar during the recovery while the spoon's out of the water. So leading the way home, still Maureen Samuel for Israel.
Yep, here comes Maureen Samuel then of Israel. She's going to be quicker, I think, as well than Skarstein, who came in 11:11 in the opening heat. 10:16.63, the world best time in the women's singles. So not under 11 seconds here, but still quicker than Skarstein. And Samuel, then the winner of Heat 2 in the PR1 women's singles girls, as was the case with Skarstein. No great surprises here so far on the water here in Tokyo. Sherima next best from the Ukraine in this heat, ahead there of Sylvia Piller-Stepat of Germany. Our remaining single scullers here will go into the repechage and try and get through to the A final from that route. Sherima second then to Samuel in this heat, and Piller-Stepat from Germany is going to come in third. So from Ukraine, Sherima, on that evidence, will be confident of making the A final. No question about that. Likewise, Piller-Stepat, the world champs bronze medalist from 2017. And thereafter, Sarden, Sururu and Ichikawa. But Samuel in control from start to finish of that heat. And there we see Sarden coming in next from Argentina. So again, she will have another crack at making the A final through the repechage.
60 or so meters for Sururu of Kenya. She was 6th.
11:03.52 is the time, and that is 8 seconds better than Birgit Skarstein, who won that opening heat. And the gold is going to be between these two, surely, isn't it? Skarstein and Samuel. And Sherima will hope to have something to say about that. 11:39.70. And then coming over the line, Sururu and Ichikawa from Kenya and Japan, respectively. Piller-Stepat then, third quickest in that second heat.
Maureen Samuel just taking some water on board there. It's about 32 degrees out there at the Sea Forest waterway. The athletes coming in now to do their warm down from the race on dry land.
Confirmation then of the results from the second heat in the PR1 women's singles. Maureen Samuel, a time of 11:03.52, qualifies directly for the A final, along with Birgit Skarstein, the winner of the first heat out on the water here at the Sea Forest Waterway in Tokyo. The rest of our single scullers will try to make the A final via the route of the repechage. You mentioned the grueling temperature out there, Kat, 32 degrees down on the water, but she looks the coolest person out there, does Samuel. So from the women to the men then, 2 heats to see who qualifies directly to the A final of the men's singles. Twelve boats in this class, 2 races, 2 6-boat races, 2 6-boat heats here. We're looking for 2 direct qualifiers, the winners of each heat. Polyansky set the world best time in 2019 in Linz, 9:12.99. So this opening heat here, we're going to see boats from the Russian Paralympic Committee, Germany, Mexico, Spain, Australia and Brazil.
Same progression system as with the women's, only one going through to the A final. We'll find that to be the common theme in the progression systems for all of the boats.
One to look out for here, I suppose, is Eric Horry going for Australia in lane 5, the 5-time world champion. In lane 1 for the Russian Paralympic Committee, the 35-year-old from Nizhny Novgorod, Alexei Chivashev, bronze medalist from London 2012, 4-time bronze medalist at the World Champs, 2 silvers, including 2019
lane 2
Linz.
for Germany, Markus Klemp.
Markus Klemp from Germany goes in lane 2. He was a world champion all the way back in 2007 in the mixed fours.
Lane 3 for Mexico,
Javier Munoz Malagon, the marvellous Mexican, the 35-year-old from Aitana. He was 19th at the World Champs in Linz in 2019. Javier Munoz, previous kayak world champion in 2013. He competed in Rio 5 years ago in the KL2 kayak events.
Lane 5 for Australia, Eric Horry.
Eric Horry, the 5-time world champion, actually born in Rotorua, New Zealand, but a naturalised Aussie and a real national hero. Rene Campos Pereira goes in lane 6 for Brazil. The 41-year-old was there in the Rio Regatta at home on Lagoa de Freitas 5 years ago. Outside the medals, though, finished bottom of the A final. So one of the most experienced athletes in the field, Horry, 5-time world champion. He's at his 3rd Paralympics. 2 silver medals. Silver, London 2012. Silver, Rio 2016. Tokyo 2020, question mark. He'll want the gold. Goes in lane 5 and is quickest off the start here. So it is Chivashev of RPC in lane 1, Klemp of Germany in lane 2, Munoz Malagon of Mexico in 3, Javier Munoz of Spain in 4, Horry of Australia in 5, Campos Pereira of Brazil in lane 6.
It's great to see Eric Horry back in international competition. We haven't seen him race since the 2019 World Championships with cancellations due to COVID, and he seems to be on great form here, just making his showing in this early stage.
Campos Pereira, the Brazilian, has made a really strong start as well. Closest to us with 6 on the bow of his boat. Lovely shot looking down the course towards the finish line there. The bridge you see Well, in the foreground is the one we call the 700 bridge, around 700 metres off the start line, and as the drone lifts higher over the Sea Forest Waterway course, the magnificent gate bridge, which is beyond the finish line. You'll probably see it creeping back into shot around about now. No, not quite. But that's situated around a kilometre or so away behind the finish line of this urban course. There we go, there it is at the top of your shot now. Magnificent structure which spans across Tokyo Bay, and Campos Pereira getting through Hori here. Terrific start here, terrific first 500 from the Brazilian. Hori now getting back 33 strokes a minute. Campos Pereira out at 38 strokes a minute. Super start from the Brazilian.
Yeah, the Brazilian's taken this on really hard here in this first stage. What a flying start from him. So he's been head-to-head with Eric Hori in the World Championships in 2019. Hori beating him on that occasion, the same result in 2018. So the Brazilian's come here with his tactic to take it on really hard in this heat. With just one athlete to go directly through to the A final, I think you've got to throw everything at it to give yourself the best chance of that position. And in these early stages, he's right up there alongside Hori.
Yeah, it's Campos Pereira of Brazil at the 500-metre mark. 2:24.01, just shy of half a second ahead of Hori, with Javier Munoz of Spain 2:57 back. Great start from the 41-year-old. Dad Renan is a well-known entrepreneur and local politician back home at Itapetinga in Brazil. He'll be enjoying this. 6th in the Rio Regatta A final. Campos Pereira 5 years ago. Hori was a silver medalist on the lagoon in Rio. Javier Munoz going well also in lane 4, but it's a battle between Campos Pereira and Eric Hori in lane 6 and 5 respectively here in this opening heat in the PR1 men's single sculls at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Regatta. Hori's just coming through, rising his rate there, and he's got a march now on the Brazilian as Eric Hori.
One of the things we can see with these two boats side by side is the difference in how the athletes are moving these boats. If you look at the right-hand tip of the boat, the stern of the boat, the back of the boat, if you like, we can see here in Pereira's boat, that just dips a little bit through his rowing stroke. As he brings his hands forwards, that part of the boat is dipping underwater, and that's just a sign that the boat's not running on quite as level as that we see from Eric Hori. So when we look back in Eric Hori's boat, you see that tip of the boat on the right-hand side. It doesn't quite go underneath the water, showing his boat's moving on really nice and level. He's using his technique to keep that boat running on level. But here we go. Pereira's responded to Eric Hori's charge, and he's staying alongside him through this second quarter.
Yeah, really bold start here from the Campos Pereira. I suppose you come into an event like this, Hori, with all his experience and those medals weighing heavy around his neck, easy to be overawed and sort of sit on the start line, almost think you're beaten before the race has started. Not a bit of it as far as Campos Pereira is concerned. 4:53.17. The Brazilian has hit the halfway mark in this opening heat. 0.19 ahead of Eric Hori, but it's going to take every last drop, isn't it, of energy in those reserves to hold off the Australian in the second half of this heat. Terrific though to see from Campos Pereira here. Yeah, the Brazilian still has it, just.
What a row from the Brazilian, absolutely fantastic showing from him. He really uses his power through the water, pulling the handles right into him, using his body swing to lever the boat along.
Javier Munoz, the 47-year-old from Seville, currently in third place in this opening heat in the PR1 men's singles. Chivashev, the Russian Paralympic Committee athlete, in fourth place at present. Then it's Klemp from Germany, and then Munoz Malagon of Mexico. He's upped his rate again here, Campos Pereira. What, half a boat length lead now over Horry, and he's pushing out further. This is superb from Campos Pereira. Where did this performance come from?
This is an absolute performance of a lifetime from Campos Pereira. Fantastic sculling from him. He's using this third quarter of the race just to move on and on from Eric Horry. This boat length advantage now, I think it's giving him even more confidence. He's got this really strong rhythm, 35 strokes a minute now from the Brazilian. Amazing sculling from him.
Yeah, so 1,500 metres, that is 3/4 race distance. It is Campos Pereira from Horry, one of the big medal favourites. Of course, we like to build up these little narratives. Horry versus Polyansky, the Ukrainian, was a potential gold medal tussle coming into this Paralympic rowing regatta. But look at this. Campos Pereira has destroyed Horry here. 5.93 is the gap with 500 metres to go. And barring a spectacular collapse or something going dreadfully wrong, you're looking at one automatic qualifier for the A final, and it is not Eric Horry, the Australian. Javier Munoz comes through in third place, 27 seconds, 27 and a half seconds back. Then it's Chivashev, Klemp and Munoz Malagon. Campos Pereira then from Brazil. Done the hard bit, hasn't he? He's taken on Horry, got past him, held off the challenge, and Horry's just all about the repechage now, isn't he?
Yeah, Horry just looking back there, he can see what the gap is. He's taken his rate down to 25 strokes a minute, and I think that's him conceding now that he will be racing again in the repechage, and he's not fighting for that A final place.
No, the towel's been thrown in. Campos Pereira can have it. A terrific scull here from the Brazilian through the red boys. That's the last 250 metres of the race. Graduate from the Bahia School of Medicine, Rene Campos Pereira, and he's found the solution here. He's found the tonic. He's got past Eric Horry, drifting a little bit there towards those boys on his right-hand side, but well, has plenty of room for the adjustment and the correction to come in over the line in first place in this first heat in the PR1 men's single sculls. It is not Eric Horry, it is Campos Pereira from Brazil who comes home to seal the automatic qualifying spot for the A final in the men's single sculls here in Tokyo. That was fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic performance. See the celebration here from the Brazilian.
Taking on Horry and beating Horry. So there's just a drift over the line now from the Australian, and it's Javier Munoz coming in third place. Just a reminder of the progression, just these heat winners go directly through to the gold medal race, the A final. Everyone else into the repechage, so well, Horry knew that was his route through, or at about 3/4 race distance there. He just said to Campos Pereira, okay, you took me, fair play, on you go. I'll just concentrate on tomorrow's racing now. But Horry, we'll see him again. We'll see Javier Munoz again. the third place finisher.
So Campos Pereira set that just now at 57.59. So less than
And then
the world's best.
Malagon from Mexico, who comes over the line in last place. 9.57.59. Rene Campos Pereira has thrown one down here. A fantastic scull there in the opening heat of the men's singles. So 10.32.92 is the time there for the two-time Paralympic silver medalist and the five-time world champion. He's had better days at the office, but he'll come again here in Tokyo. And then Javier Munoz, 10.38.83, third place finisher in this opening heat in the men's singles.
Chão. Na hora que eu vi que tava andando do lado, eu falei, vixe, o negócio deu certo.
Ah, o jogo psicológico abriu na hora certo.
Foi.
Puta, fodeu.
Uns 1000 e pouco. Eu tava indo um pouco pras boias, cara. Oh my God! Obrigado por tudo, Senhor. From Brasil! Brasil!
Gaitinha, faço
Love it.
Que bonita prova, Jacob.
Campos Pereira, a spectacular winner of that opening heat there in the PR1 men's single sculls. So 9.57.59. Here's our automatic qualifier for the A final. Eric Horry pushed down into second place. One of the real medal favourites will have to go through the repechage to make the A final. The second and last heat then in the PR1 men's single sculls on the water here at Tokyo 2020. Again, 6-boat race. We're looking for one automatic qualifier, the race winner,
directly through
to go through to the A final.
Men's singles category.
Polyansky, by the way, 9:12.99. A reminder there of the world best time.
You can see the best time
set in 2019.
Polyansky for Ukraine, setting it at 9:12.99.
Boats here in this second heat from Nigeria, Israel, Sri Lanka, the United States, Great Britain, and Ukraine.
USA, Great Britain, and Ukraine. All contesting one place through to the A final, and we're going to be keeping a close eye on their split times as they progress down the course to see if that gives us any indication to what we can expect as we look to the repechage tomorrow and the finals on Sunday.
So, African qualifying regatta winner from Nigeria, Kingsley
Lane
Ijoma.
1 for Nigeria, Kingsley Ijoma.
Won that African qualifying regatta in Tunis back in October 2019. So, a long wait
2 for Israel
before achieving his Olympic dream. Shmuel Daniel, the 36-year-old Israeli, goes in lane 2.
Lane 3 for Sri Lanka.
From Sri Lanka, it's Priyamal Jayakodi, an outsider, but this is a big moment.
Lane 4 for the USA, Blake Haxton.
Blake Haxton from the United States, a talented high school rower. He quickly made it to the US national team after taking up para rowing fourth in Rio.
Benjamin Pritchard.
Missed out on a medal by less than 4 seconds. Ben Pritchard, the youngest athlete in the field here from Great Britain, a former triathlete. And in lane 6, it's Roman Polyansky, the world champion from Linz in 2019, Olympic gold medalist, so the defending champion from Rio. He stunned the then world champion Eric Horry on the lagoon 5 years ago, and wants another gold medal, the 34-year-old from Ukraine. Away we go then. The second heat then for the PR1 men's single sculls here at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic rowing regatta. In lane 1, it's Ijoma of Nigeria. Lane 2 from Israel, it's Daniel. From Sri Lanka in lane 3, Jayakodi. Haxton of the United States in lane 4. In lane 5, it's Pritchard, the European champs silver medalist. And in lane 6, Polyansky, the defending Olympic champion, who will be looking for another gold medal here on the water in Tokyo. Great start from Pritchard from Britain.
Ben Pritchard moving away from the start at a really high rate. He was 54 strokes a minute, pulling away from that starting pontoon, starting to settle into his race rhythm. 39 strokes a minute now from the British sculler.
Well, he'll feel that he's sort of tapering his form at the right time, surely, Pritchard. Terrific. A silver medal at the Europeans, first medal in an international class event. So the youngest athlete in the field here at 29, Pritchard, took to the sport immediately, joined the GB para rowing squad in 2017. won medals in his first international season in 2019 at the Gavirate Regatta, and the second World Cup event of the season. Just missed out on the podium, finishing 4th at the 2019 Worlds in Linz. Polyansky there, closest to us, in that distinctive yellow and blue vest, representing Ukraine. We'll get back at Pritchard here, but it is the Brit who was out quickest. Polyansky just upping his rate now with 6 on the bow. That's the battle at the front of the field at the start of this second heat in the PR1 men's singles. And Polyansky just rowing through the Brit now.
Polyansky's had such great form through this last Paralympic cycle since Rio, topping the podium at World Cup events, World Championships, and most recently at the European Championships in May earlier this season. He raced Pritchard back then in that regatta, and it was Polyansky who took the gold medal, Pritchard taking the silver.
Yeah, Polyansky at 500, 2:23.43, that's 0.41, almost half a second ahead there of Pritchard and Shmuel Daniel from Israel. Over there in lane 2, third at present, 6th at the 2019 World Champs, 13th in the 2018 Shmuel Daniel, the Israeli. Polyansky just hitting that stride now and opening up a lead. Indeed, as you just mentioned there, Kat, that's a replication, isn't it, of the medal places at those Euros earlier this year in Varese. Polyansky ahead there of Pritchard. But after the performance of the Brazilian in that opening heat, it's a reminder that anything is possible on this Tokyo Sea Forest Waterway course. Lovely shot down there looking towards the finish line, and that spectacular structure, the gate bridge, which allows you to get from one side of Tokyo Bay to the other. Terrific view as well if you're on the morning commute.
Yeah, it's spectacular, the shape of that bridge, really distinctive. Right in the heart of Tokyo here at Sea Forest Waterway. Coming through this second quarter, Polyansky is starting to take an advantage, just a little bit of clear water separating these two boats now as they come through this part of the race. Polyansky at 39 strokes a minute. He uses these short, strong strokes to move the boat along, takes his time on the recovery. Pritchard also reasonably high rating. He's at 37 strokes a minute. He's using a little bit more length in the water.
So it's Ukraine 1, the Great Britain 2 here in this PR1 men's single sculls heat. Over there on the far side, that's Shmuel Daniel of Israel. So halfway through this heat, that's the 1,000-metre mark, and it's Polyansky at 4:53.32, 4.64 seconds ahead there of Pritchard. And then from Israel, it's Shmuel Daniel at 12:43. So just a reminder then that there are 4 events here at the Para Rowing Regatta at Tokyo 2020, PR1 men's and women's single sculls, PR2 that's the mixed double sculls, PR3 mixed coxed fours. 3 nations, Brazil, the Ukraine there, the nation of Polyansky, and the United States have crews in all 4 boat classes. 25 nations at these games, 48 crews, 12 in each class. And we have 6 rowers as well here in Tokyo who've been to all 4 Paralympic rowing regattas. Polyansky, we know about his palmares and that gold medal on the lagoon in Rio 5 years ago. It was a terrific finish that, when he stunned the then world champion Eric Horry on the Lagoa de Freitas, leading from the front in this heat and looking good again on the water here in Tokyo. After our top 3, which which are captured by that shot you're seeing now. It's Sherima, the Nigerian, going well in 4th place over there in lane 1. And then Haxton of the United States currently in 5th, and bringing up the rear is the Sri Lankan sculler Jayakodi in 6th place at present. But there's an element to the Paralympic rowing regatta of universality, which we see in the single sculls at the Summer Games regatta. All geographical areas, all continents represented here at the Paralympic rowing regatta. This particular heat, though, all about Europe, and Polyansky drifting a bit, but as he hits the red buoys, that's, I beg your pardon, 1500 metres, the red buoys just marking the 3/4 point in this race. Pritchard comes through in 2nd place, 11.43 down. He just had to correct there, Polyansky, but he's now back on track and into the last quarter of this race. The red buoys mark the last 250 of the race course here.
It was interesting to see Polyansky making a little adjustment there to avoid hitting the buoys on the right-hand side of the lane, and Pritchard also a little bit close on that side. We've seen that from a few athletes in this heat. So looking at the ripples on the water will show you the wind direction, and it's coming sort of from the top left of your picture down to the bottom right of the picture as we're looking down on the lake, and that's causing the athletes just to drift over to this side towards the camera side of the lanes. So a good correction from Roman Polyansky to take him out of danger of hitting a buoy, which could be crucial to boat speed at this point.
Yep, the lead is the best part of 12 seconds over Ben Pritchard, enjoyed by Roman Polyansky here. The 34-year-old wife, Alexandria Polyanska, has represented Ukraine in para rowing too. She competed at Rio, so there's real athletic ability in that family. Looking across the course there, Polyansky and Pritchard. That's Sherima just in the background there, the Nigerian in lane 1. Pritchard completed his law degree at Bangor University in 2013, then did a master's in maritime law at the University of Southampton in 2014. These are bright fellas. Pritchard drifting badly again to his right, needs to find that correction. He's able to do so coming up to the finish line, but it is Polyansky here from the Ukraine, would have been the favourite in this heat. A gold medal contender, absolutely no question, and he's the direct qualifier to the A final, the gold medal race from this heat in the PR1 men's single sculls. He had to get past Pritchard, who was out quickly, but he was able to, and has come over for a comfortable win ultimately over the Brit in that heat. So, second to Polyansky, then Ben Pritchard from Great Britain. He'll be confident enough about making the A final via the repechage route. And Shmuel Daniel from Israel in 3rd place. Polyansky, though, the world champion, the Olympic champion, setter of the world's best time in this event, comfortable winner in that heat, as we may have predicted.
Looking at the times of second place finishers from these two heats. Eric Horry was 10.32 to the line. Benjamin Pritchard was 10.12. So it's looking like those four athletes of Polyansky, Pereira, Horry and Pritchard Pritchard to be at the top of the field, possibly contending for the medals, unless, of course, some of these athletes have been keeping their powder dry for a faster final when the time comes on Sunday. Last few strokes then for Kingsley Ijoma of Nigeria to seal out 4th place in this heat, ahead of Stephen Blake Haxton for the USA, coming in 5th, ahead of Mahesh Jaya.
So we're seeing the final finishes then in this second heat in the PR1 men's single sculls, won by Polyansky, then Pritchard, Daniel, Ijoma, the Nigerian, Axton and Jaya Koddy from Sri Lanka. Over the line then to finish, but that's not the end of the Paralympic rowing regatta for these guys. They'll go again in the repechage, offers another chance to get through to the A final. We see placement races all the way through, actually. We see B finals as well in these events, so everyone, all of our 12 crews get a final placement. And Pritchard, as he's given the umbrella to get some shade from this punishing sun beating down on the Sea Forest Waterway course here in Tokyo. He'll want to be amongst the shake-up for the medals, certainly in the A final. Likewise, Shmuel Daniel from Israel, 10:22.90, will be confident of making the gold medal race, 3rd best here in this second heat.
Benjamin Pritchard with the ice vest there, a cooling vest to get the core body temperature down to enable recovery, speed up recovery.
So Roman Polyansky then, the winner of the second heat in the PR1 men's single sculls, direct qualifier to the A final. Pritchard, Daniel, Ijoma, Haxton and Jaya Koddy will row again in the repechage and hope to make the gold medal race via that route. On then to the mixed double sculls. It's a feature of the Paralympic rowing regatta. Mixed races, we don't have that in the Summer Games regatta. World best time set by Vandermeer and de Koning of the Netherlands back in 2017,
6 nations
8.06.21.
represented here. We have the People's Republic
We've
of China,
not seen a
France,
time
Brazil, the Netherlands
thus
Canada,
far that is
and
threatening
Italy.
a world best time. But just wait and see the deeper we get into this regatta. The quickest in history over 2,000 metres in this boat class. They go in this first heat. Again, we're looking for a race winner to qualify directly to the A final. Remaining crews into the repechage. And we're seeing boats here from China, France, Brazil, the Netherlands, Canada and Italy. Liu Xuang,
Lane 1 for China.
silver
Liu
medalist
Xuang
in the
and
China
Zhang
boat
Zhang.
5 years ago in Rio. Second games there for Liu, joined now by Zhang.
Lane 2 for France, Christophe Lavine.
Christophe
Pearl
Lavine
Bouge.
and Pearl Bouge. They go in lane 2 for France, always near the podium.
Lane
Now,
3. Jeremy Hall.
Jesse Brockway and Jeremy Hall, a relatively new combination. They finished 11th at the 2019 World Championships, going for Canada.
And lane 6
And
for
Chiara
Italy,
Nardo
Chiara
and
Nardo
Gianfilippo
and
Mirabile.
Mirabile.
A new partnership for Italy, going in lane 6. They finished 5th at the European Champs. Eventually qualified the boat with victory at the final Paralympic qualifying regatta in Gavirate. So this is the PR2 mixed double sculls class. 6 boats in the race. It's the first of 2 heats. As the wind picks up at the Tokyo Sea Forest Waterway, we just wait for the starters to get the boats straight in the water, and from red to green we are good to go here in the opening heat in the PR2 mixed double sculls here at the Tokyo Sea Forest Waterway. Liu and Zhang from China in lane 1, Lavine and Bouge from France in 2, Diaz de Lima, Gomez in lane 3 for Brazil, Vandermeer and de Koning lane 4 for the Netherlands, Brockway and Hall for Canada in lane 5, Nardo and Mirabile for Italy in lane 6. You've gone out quickly, the Italians on the left of your picture there, Vandermeer and de Koning in that distinctive orange boat. They've started strongly as well. This is the PR2 mixed class, functional use of trunk, but the rowers are not able to use the sliding seat because of a weakened function or mobility in the lower limbs. Nice fast start here. Well by the Chinese over there in lane 1. This is going to be an interesting race.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. The world best time holders, the Netherlands, there in the middle of the picture, that orange boat, that's the canvas of the boat, that top section, because back when Rowers used to row in wooden boats. That part of the boat would be made of canvas. These days it's fiberglass, but that orange colour from the Dutch crew in the middle is showing them right up at the front with China, and this new combination from China incorporating the silver medalists from the Rio Paralympics is moving really, really well in this first stage of the race. So approaching this first intermediate timing marker, and China at a 37 strokes a minute are leading the Dutch crew.
Yeah, super start by Xuan Liu and Zhizhang Zhang there for China, 27 and 29 years of age respectively, rowing there in lane 1. China, the silver medalist in 2016. Liu back for her second Paralympic Games, partnered by Tianming Fei on the lagoon in Rio, a duo that also took 4th at the 2017 World Champs. This partnership has only been active for the last 2 years, Liu and Zhang, but it's a lead of 1.62, enjoyed by the Chinese over the Dutch at the 500-metre mark. Then come Italy, Brazil, France and Canada. The big favourites in this boat category, I suppose, Lawrence Whiteley and Lauren Rolls of Great Britain. They go in the second heat, but this partnership here will look to push them all the way, as they're doing to the Dutch here in this opening heat in the PR2 mixed double sculls on the water here in Tokyo. So they've just come through the 700 bridge, the drone shot there looking all the way down to the finish line of this urban rowing venue in Tokyo Bay. And not for the first time, that's a crew drifting over to the right hand side. We saw that in the singles races a little earlier, and this time it's Van der Meer and de Koning of the Netherlands needing to make that connection. It's the Chinese still out in front here.
You see the front of the Chinese boat there, that little red onboard computer, or stroke coach as it's called, that shows the rowers the number of strokes per minute, and it can also show the speed of the boat from a small impeller attached to the hull, so it gives the rowers an idea of their performance and their speed through the duration of the race.
Still China. Dutch trying to up their rating. China at 31 strokes a minute at present. Dutch some, 11, 12 metres back. 3:02 is the gap at the split time. Half race distance, 1,000 metres, 4:15.91. China lead here. 8:06.21, by the way, the world best time set by the Dutch just over 4 years ago now in Poznan in June 2017, and that's 1 and 2 in the race. In the picture, China and the Netherlands here. Then come the Italians, 13 seconds back. So what do the Dutch have in the second half of this race? Sorry, Kat.
One of the challenges in this boat class is matching the power of the two athletes in the boat, and when you've got a mixed boat, the power differential can be quite great. The athletes might have a difference in terms of height as well, so it's a challenge for the coaching staff and the technical staff to set up the boat in the best way to match the power curves of the athletes through the water. So they'll use different factors. They can use the length of the oars, or sculls as they're called in sculling racing, and also the position of the gate where the oar locks into the boat. They can move these around, changing the angles, changing the dimensions, in order to get that power through the water as matched as they can with these athletes. And these two boats here, it's been done really, really well. You've got different sizes of athletes, different power coming from the athletes, and the staff and the athletes themselves have managed to match that up really, really nicely, so that the power curves can move together and move these boats on so well.
Yeah, great to see mixed racing as well in the Paralympic rowing regatta. Not something that we get to see at the Olympic Games. So right hand side of your picture, that's Van der Meer and de Koning, world champs in 2017 and 2018, European title winners as well in 2020. Second, still behind the Chinese at 3/4 race distance. About the same sort of gap, isn't it? 3:79 as well. So, can the Netherlands find a finish here and take the Chinese in the last 400 metres of this race? So, those impressive medal finishes from the Netherlands at those world champs and Europeans. But crucially, those were events where the Brits, Rolls and Whiteley, didn't compete. So, going to be a different dynamic here with the head-to-heads here in Tokyo. Doesn't look like they're going to have anything in the last strokes of this race here. It's still China, Xuang Liu and Zhizhang Yang, who are out in front in this opening heat in the PR2 mixed doubles.
It's a really impressive performance from this Chinese crew. They've stepped on so well since the World Championships in 2019. They finished in the B final, so 7th place overall in that World Championships, behind this crew from the Netherlands. So really impressive to see the Chinese make that step on here to Tokyo.
That's the extent of the dominance. Yeah, this Chinese partnership that only came together in 2019. Jiang in the stroke seat there, former international para-canoeist, competed at the 2016 para-canoeing world champs. Finished 9th in the KL3 200 metres, but with Xuang Liu here, their first place finishers in this opening heat in the PR2 mixed double sculls at the Tokyo Paralympic Rowing Regatta. A wonderful performance, leading from start to finish here over the Netherlands. So it's China, Liu and Jiang, who go directly through to the A final here in the mixed doubles. The Netherlands have to come through the repechage system. Italy there at the bottom of your shot there, Nardo and Mirabile. And the Brazilians. So, race winner goes directly through, everyone else goes again. Well played, those two, Xuang Liu and Zhizhang Yang from China. That's Jesse Brockway and Jeremy Hall of Canada coming over the line in last place, the new combination, the Canadian double there. So Van der Meer and de Koning are beaten in this heat, but well, they will have enough to get through to the A final through the repechage. But the Chinese have laid down a marker here.
Interesting to see the performance from this new lineup from Italy. They've come in the 3rd place, this new combination. Gianfilippo Mirabile in the stroke seat there with that wonderful Italian tricolore in his beard. Fantastic to see that. He's managed to get the Italian flag into his beard. He's now sitting in front of Chiara Nardu. She's new into the boat this year, and that 3rd place, a great result from them.
Yeah, that is really something, that, isn't it? Who's his barber? So, another terrific race on the water in Tokyo. Liu and Jiang, the time of 8:46.15, winning that heat. Liu and Jiang then confirmed winners of the PR2 mixed double sculls opening heat.
And it's the Paralympic best time, of course, because it's the first Paralympics racing over 2,000 metres, so it's the new Paralympic best over this new course distance of 2,000.
Yeah, was it 4 years now since they moved to racing over 2,000? 2017 World Champs, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, this whole Olympic cycle's been over the 2,000 metre distance, so we've got world best times over that distance, but to see the new Paralympic best times is quite something for these athletes to be racing over the full rowing course. So as those double sculls are coming out of the water, we're seeing the fours in the background there, getting ready to boat for their heat later on in this schedule.
Yep, we're cracking on through the programme on this opening morning of the Paralympic Rowing Regatta at Tokyo 2020. 4 events. Single sculls for the men and women. The mixed doubles midway through the heats there. The Italians came in 3rd place. Mirabile with that distinctive beard. That's going to become one of the icons of the regatta, I think. They just worry about when he eats a bowl of spaghetti. Get tomato sauce on that. So that's the first heat done and dusted in the mixed doubles. Liu and Jiang are winners. And we're going to be seeing the mixed coxed fours PR3 category to come a little later. what I like here is, you know, we sort of had a look at the starting order, and you obviously pick out those that you think is going to win, be the direct qualifier. These opening heats, we see one boat, only the race winner going through directly to the A finals. That wasn't the case in the men's single, was it? We saw the Brazilian coming through and stunning Eric Horry, and likewise the Chinese here, who put the Dutch in the shade. And now they will need a bit of shade, actually. Just past 11 AM local time in Tokyo. The temperature is rising, and the tension is rising as well, as we look forward to the second heat in the PR2 mixed doubles. He may have just won a Olympic heat, but mask up. Of course, we don't have spectators inside the venues here at the Tokyo Paralympic Games, as it was for the Summer Olympic Games. Social distancing rules still being respected. Of course they are here. It's just great that the Tokyo organisers have got this regatta on with all the COVID complications.
Here comes the start list. United
On then
States
to
of
the
America,
second
Poland,
heat
Uzbekistan,
in the
Australia,
PR2 mixed
Great Britain,
double sculls.
Ukraine.
Boats here from the United States, Poland, Uzbekistan, Australia, Great Britain, the gold medal favourites in this boat class, go in lane 5 here, and Ukraine in lane 6.
Lane 1 for the United
Lauren
States
Goodkind
of
and
America.
Russell
Lauren Goodkind
Gernhardt.
and Russell Gernhardt.
Relatively new pairing. Goodkind competed in Rio with Helman Roman. Both finished 10th.
Lane
Jolanta
2 for
Majka
Poland,
and
Jolanta
Mikhail
Majka
Gadowski
and Mikhail Gadowski.
of Poland. Majka, another of the elite band of rowers to have competed at all of the Paralympic regattas.
Lane 3
From Uzbekistan, Feruza Buribueva and Otabek Kucherov, 22 and 24 respectively. They're the youngest crew in the event here in Tokyo.
Lane 4 for Australia, Simon Albury.
Simon Albury and
Ross.
Catherine Ross. Ross again, who's been at all 4 Paralympic rowing regattas, silver medalist in Beijing with John
Lane
McLean.
5 for Great Britain, Lawrence Whiteley.
And the defending
Lauren
champions and the reigning world champions, Lawrence Whiteley
Lane
and
6
Lauren
for
Rolls
Ukraine,
from
Svetlana
Great
Bolslavska
Britain.
and Yaroslav Koyuda.
Svetlana Bolslavska and Yaroslav Koyuda from the Ukraine. They go in lane 6. So we're underway then in the second heat in the PR2 mixed double sculls. Goodkind and Gernhardt of the United States in lane 1. Majka and Gadowski of Poland in lane 2. Buribueva and Kushkarov of Uzbekistan in 3. Albury and Ross of Australia in 4. Whiteley and Rolls of Great Britain in 5. Bolslavska and Koyuda of Ukraine go in lane 6. I suppose we're going to be watching out here for Whiteley and Rolls in lane 5 of Great Britain, the defending champions and the reigning world champions, the Brits, who are heading into this Tokyo regatta as strong favourites to regain their title. But there's an excellent start over there in lane 1 by Goodkind and Gernhardt of the United States.
Yeah, the USA are taking this on really hard in these early stages. They shot out the blocks. They're settling into 38 strokes a minute now, just up on the rest of the field. As you say, the Great Britain crew coming into this as favourites. They've had a superb result, the European Championships this year, taking the win there. Lauren Rolls, just 23 years of age, already Paralympic champion from the Rio Paralympics. So the expectation is there on that British crew, but in these early stages, the USA are leading.
Yeah, that's the United States over there in lane 1. So Australia as well, just picking it up. I think the Brits are just about coming through now with 5 on their bow. Lawrence Whiteley and Lauren Rolls there. Whiteley, a junior triathlete before bone cancer. Saw him need titanium rods inserted in his leg. Started rowing in 2011 at Tees Rowing Club. Went down to Caversham in 2014. And Britain have just hit the front then at 500, 208.87. That's 1:25 ahead of the Australian duo of Catherine Ross, 40 years of age, and Simon Albury at 39. Ross, part of this elite group who've competed at all 4 Paralympic rowing regattas. We see Britain just pushing on and trying to consolidate their advantage here in the second 500 of this PR2 mixed double sculls heat.
Currently riding in second place, just back from the Brits. It's the new lineup from Australia, Catherine Ross, that experienced Paralympian, now paired with Simon Albury in the stroke seat. Simon Albury, this is his international debut here at the Paralympic Games. What a fantastic first half of the heat this is for them, just sitting there a length down on Great Britain. So Catherine Ross picking up the gold medal in the PR2 single sculls at the World Championships back in 2019. So fantastic that she's found this new partner in Simon Albury, and they're moving on really nicely here. But Great Britain coming into this race with that expectation, they're leading the way and just starting to get a clear water advantage ahead of Australia.
Yeah, the challenge is to just try and keep the boat straight again and just hold that positioning in the middle of the lane. Spectacular shot there, looking down towards the finish line with the magnificent gate bridge stretching out across Tokyo Bay in the distance. Lauren Rolls there in the stroke seat, first took up wheelchair racing and represented England at the Commonwealth Games in 2014, then switched to rowing a year later and formed this formidable partnership with Lawrence Whiteley. Took bronze in their very first season together at the 2015 Worlds, and that of course paved the way for the Rio campaign. They took the gold there, so defending Olympic champions, Whiteley and Rolls, and at mid-race distance for 19.77 is the time, holding this advantage of just over 3 seconds from Ross and Albury of Australia. It's Ukraine in third place, Boleslavska and Koyuda, but they look to be in control here, Whiteley and Rolls.
We take a look in there at Lauren Rolls in the stroke seat. She's really using her core strength through the back end of the stroke, so when her hands come in towards her body and she takes the spoons of the blade out of the water, she's leaning right back there, using that core, using the power through the trunk to accelerate the boat on before she comes forward to take another stroke. So she's really got some strength, and she can use that to make a great rhythm in this boat. The rhythm is the ratio between the drive phase in the water and that recovery phase when the spoons are out of the water and the athletes are bringing their hands back forwards again. And Lauren Rolls really knows how to use her power to generate that rhythm, and that's taking them down this boat, down this course now with a boat length advantage ahead of Australia.
Yeah, stroke rate of 36 in the Great Britain boat there, and the lead now of some 19 metres over Albury and Ross. So a nice, smooth, controlled race here from the Brits. Just see Australia at the top of the picture, just trying to up it, just trying to lift the stroke rate and get a little bit closer, make the last 500 a bit more competitive. So 1500 metres, that's 3/4 the race distance. 6:31.96 is the time, and Great Britain have just extended out a little bit. Just got another 2 seconds on the Aussies there. 5:87 is the gap now, and Ukraine 6.5 seconds down now on the British boat. It's 2-1 set by Van der Meer and a colleague of the Netherlands just over 4 years ago now in Poznan in June 2017. And that's the Ukrainian boat, Yaroslav Koyuda, 33 years of age there in the stroke seat. He's been racing on the power rowing circuit for 8 years now, initially in the mixed 4. Got into World Championship A finals in 2013 and 14, 5th at the Rio Paralympic Games 5 years ago, and then moved into the mixed double with Boleslavska 4 years ago now. Nice shot there as the leading boats come through the red buoys. Last 250 metres. Whiteley and Rolls in control here, and they're going to be our automatic qualifiers, single boats straight through.
Gone up to 40 strokes a minute to come through and take that second place ahead of Australia. It's not going to get them a slot in the A final, just one direct qualifier.
Good kind and Gernat, who went off quickly out of the blocks actually, but soon faded, and 8:42.27. So that's a Paralympic best time.
Well, it's another Paralympic best time, 8:42.27.
Is that 4 seconds or so better than Yu and Zhang, the winners of that opening heat? 8:49.68, terrific finish. Great sprint there from Boleslavska and Koyuda, just to pit the Aussies. And we'll be seeing Simon Albury and Catherine Ross again in the repechage. Well, surely, if you want to win the gold medal in the PR2 mixed double sculls here at Tokyo 2020, you have to beat these two. Got that great consistency. 6 years in the boat together now.
Here's that fast start from the USA crew. They were fastest out of the blocks before the rest of the field came back on them. That's the recovery strategy there, taking the shade from the umbrella, ice vest on, frozen towel for Lauren Rolls, and those ice pops as well to cool down. She's got a cold drink there, just aiding their recovery to get the body temperature down.
Yeah, they'll be pleased that the racing's done and dusted, and that's been the boat qualified just before we get into the real hot part of the day. Just past 11 in the morning local time here in Tokyo, as the sun beats down on the Sea Forest Waterway course. Just a couple of kilometres sort of round the corner from the main media hub in this Olympic city in 2021. Whiteley and Rolls then, 8:42.27. They are our direct qualifiers for the A final in the PR2 mixed double sculls. Ukraine, Australia, Poland, United States and Uzbekistan. Those pairings will race again in the repechage and try to qualify for the medal race that way. Good indicator there of just how much the wind has picked up during the course of the morning. So we've seen new Paralympic times, best Paralympic times set, but there is a little asterisk against that because this is, of course, the first Paralympic rowing regatta when races have been run over 2,000 metres. No new world best time yet, but this regatta is still pretty young. Now then, we're on to the third boat class.
Six nations taking
this is
part
the
again,
PR3
just
mixed
for A finals. We've got Israel,
with a
Spain,
coxswain.
Ukraine, USA, Australia,
Great Britain
and
set
Canada.
the world best time 2 years ago, 6:49.24. The world champs in Linz. These are the coxed fours on the start line in this first of two heats. Israel, Spain, Ukraine, United States, Australia and Canada.
Lane one for Israel, Mikhail Feinblatt.
So in lane one, this is Israel, 6th in the world at Linz 2 years ago. It's the full lineup competing in Tokyo. Mikhail Feinblatt, Simona Stuck, Barak Hazor, Achia Klein and Marlene Miller. In lane two, Josefa Guzman, Jorge Matabuena, Enrico Floriano, Veronica Pulido, and the coxes Maria Zubillaga. A brand new crew, brand new lineup here for these Tokyo Paralympic Games. Ukraine 8th at the 2019 World Champs. They secured the final direct qualifying spot for Tokyo. Polyansky, Kotaik, Samolyuk, Zhuk, coxed by Malasai. From the United States, Riley, Hansen, Nordin, Tanguay, and Petrick is the coxswain.
Lane 5 for Australia, Alexandra Vinny, Nikki Ayers, Thomas
Vinny, Ayers, Birtwistle, Tolbert
Tomaszens.
and Domashens, the coxswain for Australia, the crew that finished 4th at the 2019 World Champs. The reigning Paralympic bronze medalists from Canada, Hooper, Todd, Nolan, Fredrickson, and the coxswain is 24-year-old Laura Court. Same lineup that finished just outside of the medal in 2018. So, this will be interesting. The defending Olympic champions from Rio are Great Britain in the PR3 mixed coxed fours. The British boat goes in the second heat. United States going here in lane 4. They were the silver medalists in Rio. We're away then in the PR3 mixed coxed fours. This is the first heat of 2. In lane 1 we have Israel, Spain in lane 2, Ukraine in lane 3. In lane 4 it's the United States, silver medalists from the lagoon in Rio 5 years ago. Australia go in lane 5 and Canada, bronze medalists from Rio, go in lane 6. Really, Kat, this class is all about who can get close to the Brits, really.
Yeah, I think it really is, Andy. They're coming into this as the favourites with that spectacular win from the World Championships back in 2019 in Linz, and certainly one of the crews wanting to challenge Great Britain is the USA, and here they're taking it on very hard in the first couple of 100 metres. The USA just edging their bow into the front of this field.
Yeah, so that's the United States there, getting out quickly. And then just to the left of the United States boat, there you see the Australians. They're in lane 5. And Canada in lane 6. So currently it's the United States then. They just can't get past the Brits. Been runners-up to Great Britain at every race since 2014. The United States. Danielle Hansen has been in the crew every single time. A big medal haul with 5 World Championship silvers, a Paralympic silver. Can they get closer here at Tokyo 2020? Can they get to the top spot of the podium? 1:45.05 is the United States time at 500 metres, and that's 3.04 ahead of the Australians at quarter race distance.
So the sweep rowing event in the Paralympic programme. So sweep rowing, the athletes just have one oar, and that oar is much longer than the oars you see used in the sculling events, where the athletes have 2 oars. And you also might notice, if you've heard the previous heats during this session, this is also the noisiest event in the Paralympic programme. You can hear the voices of the coxswains urging their crews on. So they're sitting right down there low in the front of the boat, their legs and their body inside the shell of the boat, and just their head sticking out over the top so they can see where they're going. They steer the boat from that position. They've got a wire which is attached to the rudder, letting them hold the boat straight down the course. They've also got a small microphone that's linked up to speakers in the boat, so they can shout encouragement, communicate the race strategy to the crews, and so that's why we're hearing this being the loudest race so far in this Paralympic programme.
Yeah, this is the PR3 mixed cox 4s, just to give you an idea of the classification. The United States are in command here. Riley, Hansen, Nordin, Tanguay, coxed by 23-year-old Karen Petrick at 1,000 metres half race distance. They have a lead of over 5 seconds over the Australians. Then come Israel, another 5 seconds back. So they're in that pole position, and they are poised to go through as our one direct qualifier to the A final. Remaining crews into the repechage.
Riding with the leaders again, the USA. One of the things you'll notice about this boat is that they have the stroke man is rowing on bow side. His oar comes out to the left-hand side, and then behind him there are 2 rowers with their oars out to the right-hand side. So 2 rowers on stroke side, and then a bow side rower in the bows. And you can see to the right-hand side of the screen, the Australian crew is set up differently. They're alternating the oars from the left side and the right side of the boats, and it's a factor that the coaches, the athletes can use in order to balance the power, balance the technique within the crew. And this type of rigging, it's called, is sometimes called a bucket rig, to have the 2 rowers in the centre of the boat, both rowing on the same side. And it feels slightly different to row in a boat like this, and it's something the athletes can do to allow the boat to run straight, to allow those power curves to be balanced.
It's still the Americans, but 34 strokes a minute. Israel just upping it at 35 at present, but can't find that extra speed to get up at the Australians, let alone our race leaders here, the United States of America. So 3/4 of the race is run, and the United States have it. 5:29.65 into the last 500. Look to bring it home. They've actually upped their lead over the Australians to 7 1/4 seconds. That's a lead of 34 metres or so. Then come Israel, 3rd place, Canada in 4th, Ukraine in 5th, and then the Spaniards in lane 2 there, bringing up the rear, coming through the 1500 mark, 35 seconds back. Well, the United States is so determined to lift themselves one place up on the podium, throwing down a real marker here in this opening heat in the PR3 mixed coxed fours event here at the Sea Forest Waterway, Tokyo 2020.
Karen Pritchard, the coxswain in that boat, you can hear her using her voice in time with the rhythm of the boat to encourage the athletes to row in that rhythm together. And as they come towards the closing stage of the race, there's 150 metres to go, and they're keeping that stroke rate at a 36 strokes a minute.
Calm and controlled through the red buoys now. 6:49.24 is the world best time. The United States aren't up to that, but still a very impressive, dominant performance here from the Cox 4 American boat. Heat winners here. Then come the Australians. They'll go into the repechage. Likewise, the Israelis who come through in third place. Then it's Canada. Then come the Ukrainians there in distinctive blue and yellow. And Spain bring up the rear. United States did the job here. Riley, Hansen, Nordin, Tanguy. Coxed by Petrick. Comfortable heat winners. So 7:19.97. Just by default, that's a Paralympic best time. Can the Brits, or indeed an outlier, an outsider, beat that time in the second heat? Australia 7:30.72, so 11 seconds the gap there between first and second in this opening heat in the PR3 mixed cox 4, and then the Israelis a further 8 seconds back. But it's Australia, Israel, Canada, Ukraine and Spain into the repechage. United States straight on through to the A final.
And look in there on the surf rescue boats in the middle of the picture, the surf lifesavers there doing their job to direct the crews where they need to be, poised and ready in case of any difficulties or any athletes ending up in the water.
Yeah, now it's all about taking liquids on board, getting a bit of shade. Nice wink to the camera there. They like that as they hunt down the Brits. Again, for the rest of the day, Kat, will these rowers get back out on the water this afternoon, or is it all now about getting back onto dry land? And
I'd imagine they would be back out later in the day, perhaps when things cool down again. Their normal training schedule would have them training a couple of times a day, and to get back out there and just let the muscles have some recovery time in the boat. That's probably the way they're going to do it, but they may have a different plan in mind, and using land-based recovery like the ergometer, the rowing machine in the gym.
One less race for the United States on the way to the medal race. And of course, the crews that go through the repechage will have more time in the water.
Thumbs up and a smile there from John Tanguay in the stroke seat. They look happy with that result.
The Israelis came in third.
Boat, channel starboard. Look down. Walk it down. Walking it down.
Move it. יש לנו דברים ששארנו בסיבוב, אתה יכול לדאוג להם?
It's a nice shot of those starting gates go down. The bows of the boat just fit into a plastic automatic starting gate. When the green light goes, those gates come down and the crews can get off into their race strategy.
In a time then of 7:19.97, the United States qualified directly for the A final in the PR3 mixed coxed fours. The Australians, the Israelis, the Canadians, Ukraine and Spain all go into the repechage.
This angle, we see those wind turbines alongside the course, part of the sustainability strategy for these games. And up there on the right-hand side of the course, right up near the start, that tall, dark grey coloured building is a waste incineration plant, a clean burning waste incineration plant, also part of the clean energy strategy here in Tokyo.
And we're right under a flight path as well for Haneda Airport. A smaller and closer to the centre of Tokyo, of this city's two airports. Canada in the southwest corner, Narita up away to the northeast. Again, if you're on the right flight, some pretty spectacular views of the race course unfolding out beneath you as you come into land here in Tokyo. So the final race on the programme on the opening morning of racing at the Tokyo Paralympic Rowing Regatta. It's the second heat of the PR3 mixed coxed fours.
本日最後のレースとなります。混合 PR3 脱出機4は予選第2組です。
In this race, we're going to have France, Great Britain, the big favourites, Japan, Brazil, Italy, and the Russian Paralympic Committee.
Taking part in this second heat, then we have France, Great Britain, Japan, Brazil, Italy, and RPC.
The French have 3 of the crew that finished 8th at the Rio Paralympics. Erica Sozo, the 39-year-old, has come in lane 2. It's Great Britain, the kings and queens of this boat class. British crew haven't been beaten in this category since the world champs of 2010. They go in lane 2. In lane 3, it's the home crew of Japan. 14th place finish at the world champs in Linz in 2019. Brazil go in lane 4. 9th place finishers in Linz. De Souza, De Oliveira, De Silva Junior, Frolik, and De Silva is the coxswain. This new Italian crew of Scazzozzi, Brancato, Bernard Muti, coxed by Fuina. And 3 in the Russian Paralympic Committee boat that finished 5th at the Linz World Championships 2 summers ago to qualify the boat for these Paralympic Games. They are the crew to beat, no question. Buttrick, Rakaskaita, Fox, Stanhope, and Erin Kennedy, the cox. Wind has really picked up now. We can see the flags over the opposite side of the course. Gives you a good indicator of just how breezy it is at the Sea Forest waterway. We wait for the green light. And we're away. This is the second heat in the PR3 mixed coxed fours. We're looking for the race winner and the race winner only to go through to the A final and join the United States, who were the commanding victors in that first heat. So across in lane 1, it's France. In lane 2, it's Great Britain, the defending champions and big favourites again. In lane 3, it's Japan. Lane 4, Brazil. Lane 5, Italy. Lane 6, the Russian Paralympic Committee. I suppose all eyes will be on GB in lane 2 with that distinctive yellow canvas.
Yeah, this Great Britain lineup, such success in recent years, and there's not been so much racing in 2020, 2021 because of COVID, but they've stormed into the European Championships this year in Italy and Varese to take that title ahead of France. So the Great Britain crew coming in here as confirmed favourites, and what a great start from them. They've already established a lead 300 metres into the race. They've got a lead of about half a length over the rest of the field.
Yeah, Great Britain out the quickest then in lane 2. Love that shot from high up, looking down towards the finish line. All the vital elements encapsulated in that one shot. You get a sense of the scale of the Olympic and Paralympic rowing course here, used during the Summer Games just a few short weeks ago, when we had 9 world best or Olympic best times set. We've had Paralympic best times achieved so far on this opening morning of the regatta, but maybe we'll have world best times being challenged again the deeper we get into the racing over the next few days. Great Britain, big gold medal favourites in this PR3 mixed coxed fours class, quickest to the 500 metre mark at 1:42.84, and establishing a quick early lead to the tune of nearly 4 seconds, 3:95 over the French. Great start here by Pritchard, Rakaskaita, Fox, Stanhope, and coxed by Erin Kennedy. It's James Fox who's the sole survivor of the Paralympic champion crew from Rio 5 years ago. He has new teammates around him, but they've found that consistency, and they're leading from the front in this heat, Great Britain. Coming through the 700 mark, the unofficial, well, we're calling it the 700 bridge there. Great Britain in control of this heat. Next best are the French, Erika Sozo, Antoine Gesel, Remy Taranto, Margot Boulet, with Le Barreau coxing the French boat. But it's the overwhelming favourites for the gold medal, the Great Britain, who lead this heat.
Crew from Great Britain at 34 strokes a minute, stroked by Ollie Stanhope. He gets this real rotation around the rig, a real length coming from that stroke, and that enables the rowers behind him to row really, really long. They're very accurate with their placement of the oar into the water at the front end of the stroke, and that lets the boat move on so sweetly when they release those oars out of the water.
Well, it was a nearly 4 second lead at 500. They've pushed that out now to best part of 10 seconds over the French at midway point. Great Britain so strong, and I tell you what, come the final, they and the United States are really going to go for it. I'm looking forward to that. United States, who have qualified directly as the first heat winners, and they're going to be followed here, barring something really quite sensationally going wrong, by the Brits in this second heat. Difficult to sort of understate the scale of the upset, whether the Brits to be beaten in this regatta, a decade's worth of dominance. Having said that, we saw runs of success come to an end where the Brits were concerned at the Summer Olympic Rowing Regatta. It was a disappointing A performance in the Summer Olympic Regatta last month from the Brits, but you're looking at a crew here who can restore some of the glory and retain that winning feeling, continue the winning sequence at 1500 metres here. Look at this size of the lead enjoyed by Buttrick, Rakaskaita, Fox, Stanhope and Kennedy. 5:16.97 is the time at 1500, and trailing in behind the French, nearly 16 seconds back there. Great Britain absolutely dominant.
What a performance from Great Britain. Fantastic rowing from this crew. They've come out, they've set their minds on what needs to be done, and they've rowed really, really well the whole way down the course. That experience of Erin Kennedy in the coxswain seat, 29 years of age, just urging them on. And here, looking in at the French, they're some 16 seconds down on Great Britain. They'll know they'll be going through the repechage at this stage, bearing any disastrous upsets. But Great Britain, what a fabulous heat and opening to their regatta.
Great Britain beat the French by 13 seconds at the Europeans earlier this year in Varese. Erica Sozo, the new addition to that boat, alongside Giselle Taranto and Boulay. But if anything, the Brits are pushing out the advantage here. They're even stronger and they're even quicker. Leading home through the red buoys now, Great Britain. This the world best time, 6:49.24, set by this same four in Linz 2 years ago. Well, they're slower than that this time round, but that doesn't matter, not at this stage. You can tell, the picture tells the whole story here of Great Britain's dominance in this heat in the PR3 mixed coxed 4. Coming in at 7:09. So again, that set a new Paralympic best time. 10 seconds better than the United States time from the opening heat. Then come the French, 7:26. 17 seconds the gap there, and way away in the distance the Italians come home in third place. Well, they came to Tokyo as the big favourites, and they are still the big favourites, Great Britain, after an absolutely barnstorming display in this heat. The Japanese coming over the finish line in last place. So after Britain, France, Italy, RPC, Brazil and the Japanese. So those last 5 boats will go into the repechage. Still a chance to get into the final. But there again, whoever makes it through, they'll have to contend with this lot. Alan Buttrick, Idra Rakaskaita, James Fox, Oliver Stanhope and the cox Erin Kennedy. The winning run continues. And no one again able to hold a candle really towards the GB mixed cox 4 here. 7:09.44, new Paralympic best time. Great Britain, and that was a great row.
And to see that time 10 seconds quicker than the first heat, really, really impressive speed from this British crew.
So just a reminder, this is the boat class where athletes have functional use of their legs, trunks and arms, and who can utilise a sliding seat. You get into that winning groove and it just becomes a habit, doesn't it? That's been the case really for the Brits in this boat class. 17 seconds back. Behind the Brits were the French, the European silver medalists. Remains to be seen, though, whether, assuming they get through the repechage, the French, which is fully expected, they can come close to challenging for a medal. And the French themselves 6 seconds ahead of the Italians. A new crew put together for the World Championship season in 2019. Bronze, actually, weren't they?
Yeah, they were bronze, and they took the win in the European Championships last year, which was an absolutely storming performance from them, finishing ahead of the French.
Results then of the second heat in the PR3 mixed cox fours, 7:09.44. Nobody's gone quicker in this boat class than Great Britain. The remaining 5 boats go into the repechage, so another chance to get into the A final. Concludes an excellent morning's racing then at the Paralympic Rowing Regatta. Been a long time coming, this event, and it didn't disappoint. Some terrific action there in the heats. All crews out on the water. 4 events here at these Tokyo Paralympic Games. 48 crews involved, 12 in each class. So we've seen heat winners go through directly to the A finals. The remaining 5 boats in each heat will race again to try to get into the A final, the gold medal race, thanks to the repechage system. Some very memorable performances as well, particularly from the Brazilian, who upset Eric Horry in the second heat in the men's singles. Actually the first heat, wasn't it? Campos Pereira getting the better of Eric Horry, and Polyansky ahead of Pritchard in that other men's singles heat. far as the women were concerned, Skarstein, the big favourite from Norway. She qualified directly to the A final in the women's singles. Likewise, Samuel, the Israeli, very strong in that second heat in qualifying for the PR1 women's single sculls A final. The Paralympic best time of 11:03.52. Some spectacular racing as well in the mixed races, the double and the coxed 4, and some lovely sweeping shots of the Tokyo-based skyline. So some magnificent racing out on the water in Tokyo Bay at the Sea Forest Waterway as the Paralympic rowing regatta got underway. 12 boats in each class, all 48 crews out on the water. 25 nations represented in these 4 events, 3 boat classes. And we have our first direct qualifiers for the A finals in each of the PR1, M1 and W1, the single sculls for the men and women, PR2 mixed doubles, PR3 mixed coxed 4s, and it's on next up in 24 hours time to the repechage races as our remaining crews get another shot at making the A finals and the gold medal races. So some terrific racing here in Tokyo. There's plenty more where that came from. We'll see you again very soon at the Tokyo Sea Forest Waterway. From myself, Andy Bodfish, and from Kat Holloway, we'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.